It's your daily dose of Donna. Happy Monday. It is Monday, March 24th. I am so happy to have so many of you guys already here in the live chat. We have such a good show today, you guys. These are the shows that I crave. The shows where we get to go like deep diving. We get to like deep dive through the deep holes of the internet. That just sounds bad. You know me. I always find a way to make every conversation a little bit uncomfortable and a little bit inappropriate, but I love to go deep and I love to kind of get into that scroll hole and talk about all kinds of things that, in the depths of the internet. And I have such a special guest that I'll introduce in just a moment. But welcome, you guys. I hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. It was a lovely weekend. It was a beautiful, sunny, amazing weekend here in Los Angeles. And if you guys subscribe to my Patreon, I talked all about it. I talked a little bit about, some personal updates. I spoke about kind of the happenings behind the scenes. So subscribe to my Patreon. All the links are below. If you want some updates on what's going on behind the scenes on my show and in my life, that will be a good place for you guys to jump on over. And if you are interested in anything else, make sure to join the members only. We're doing a members only this week on Wednesday. There's so many fun things going on behind the scenes. We have Dosers Live coming up this year in August here in Los Angeles. So many offshoots of Daily Dose of Donna coming up. So don't worry, exciting things ahead. Plus, some really fun guests coming up on this show. Like I said, my guest that I'll introduce in just a moment. I've got Popcorn Planet, Andy coming up tomorrow. Some exciting collabs coming up on Daily Dose of Donna this week and next week, and other things. So sit tight, you guys. I have a great show for you today. This, my friends, is Daily Dose of Donna. Yay, we're here. The song has played. Now the show can start. Okay, you guys, this is like going to be a little taste of what my life is off the show, because those girls, those people in your life that you talk to all the time, that you text all the time, that anything is going on in your personal life or with gossip, or anytime something big happens, like a Blake and Justin update, or a big news story happens, or Bethany eats another kinds of chicken salad and you have to text someone. This is the person, and this is my girl, you guys, from the show Polarized with Molly Dare. Everyone, welcome Molly Dare to the stage.
Daily Dose of Donna.
Molly Dare is my East Coast correspondent. You may have heard me talk about her many times on the show. Molly Dare coming all the way from, the East Coast.
The East Coast. You can say it. Jersey.
Jersey. Oh my gosh, you're where the crime happened. The alleged crime of It Ends With Us.
Yes.
What is it like over there? Is it
wild? It's crazy. We don't know what to do with ourselves. We're going crazy. I hope you're going to come out here in March
for the trial.
Yeah.
Well, it's not going to be in New Jersey.
Well, no, it's going to be in New York. Well, that's where I say I'm from.
You tell everyone you're in New York.
Yeah.
Well, how far are you actually from the city?
Like an hour.
In traffic, not traffic? There's always traffic.
I rarely go when there's traffic, so it's like an hour for me in and out.
Okay.
But I'm there like 2 or 3 times a week, so to me, it's like a normal commute.
And are you far from where they shot It Ends With Us?
No, that's actually closer. That's exactly an hour, because that's right when you enter the city.
Where is Lily Bloom's flower shop? Like, we need to go. I want to see where this alleged harassment happened.
They need to do a bus tour, like an Ends With Us bus tour. You know how they had the Sex in the City one?
Don't say Sex and Lily Bloom and It Ends With Us in the same sentence. We're going to get sued. Seriously.
Yeah, it all ends here.
It all ends here.
That's right.
What are your thoughts these days? Are you keeping up? Or are you over it? Let's be real.
No, I'll never get over it. Will we ever get over this? This is going to be Hollywood lore forever. It's never going away. As we kind of discussed before, there's a lot of crisis management things that happen on sets and with actors and public figures that you kind of go through the motions and you go through it and you kind of, hope another big story comes and it kind of goes away, right? We've forgotten about all of the other big stuff we talk about. This specific case is going to become Hollywood lore. It's going to be used. It's, were you Blaked? Were you Baldoni? It's going to be a verb for the rest of time.
What does that mean to be Baldoni, though? We don't know yet.
We don't know.
Yeah, because I feel like we'll know what that means to be Blaked.
We know what it means to be Blaked. If you were on Blake's camp, I'm sure you have a definition of what it means to be Baldonied. I'm sure Ryan could give his thoughts on what it means to be Baldonied.
Oh, we have so much to talk about with Ryan today.
So much. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
I'll let you go.
No, you go. You go.
Well, the Grant Cardone of it all. Can we go there?
Well, that's what I was going to talk about.
I mean, were you as shocked? The gasp I gasped when Ryan Reynolds appeared on Grant Cardone's stage.
Okay, let's talk about this really fast.
Yeah.
So you guys, it was Friday, right? Yeah, it was Friday because my kids were here. I got a text message, no, from you, right? Or someone commented on one of my posts saying, my husband is at they said, I'm at Grant Cardone's conference. So why don't you, because you and I met. This is going to be an interesting moment, you guys.
Okay.
Molly and I met on a app called Clubhouse, which if you guys know what Clubhouse is, it was a social audio app that really peaked in 2021 when the world was shut down and we would all be home and it was just on your phone. So you couldn't see us speaking, you would just see a little picture of us and you would hear us. And it was weird. There were rooms on public speaking. There were rooms on mindset and motivation. There were rooms on, how embarrassing. There were.
I'm like, I can't believe she's actually going here, but okay, we need to be honest.
Okay. So Grant Cardone was in a lot of our rooms. He was showing up in all of those Clubhouse rooms and he was like a hot shot in those rooms. Like Grant would walk in and everyone would be like, everyone stop what you're doing. Grant's here.
No, it was Moses parted the seas. Like when Grant entered your room, you stopped. If someone was talking, you would cut them off.
Yep.
It didn't matter. He had one of the largest followings on Clubhouse. And the way that it worked is if someone enters your room, their followers get a notification that they're there. And so you get a lot of their followers coming in to listen to you and be in your room.
So Grant would come into the room and like everyone would be like, stop. Like I would imagine that people would be like running through the hallway of Clubhouse, this fake app. Being like, Grant's in the room. And you could be in the middle of talking, saying the most important thing. And it would be like, Sutton cutting off Dorit, telling her like, shut up. Grant Cardone is here. So Grant Cardone would always cut off whoever was talking and just spout off God knows what. So for anyone that doesn't know who Grant Cardone is, how could we describe him in the most easy to understand way? He is the head of this company called 10X. Like that's his company. His brand is 10X.
He wants to 10X your wealth is what he does. That's what he sells. Those are the programs that he wants you to buy into, is that by following his program, you will 10X your income over a certain period of time by investing in him.
Yes. He is known as, now here's the thing about it. You can literally find incredible things about Grant Cardone online if you're looking for them. And you can find the scariest, most shady, most scam artists, most dangerous things about Grant Cardone.
He's got a lot of lawsuits.
Incredibly.
But who doesn't these days?
Well, that's true too. The problem is that it's kind of what you want to believe. I believe that when there's smoke, there's fire, right? With a lot of these people, he is around a lot of money and he has been accused of a lot of MLM pyramid scams.
I think a lot of his cases too involve, and this is like where the media comes in and kind of goes hard on this, is they feel he takes advantage of those who will literally sell their house, sell their truck, sell everything that they have because they believe in him, thinking they're going to make this vast amount of fortune. When it's really like with any other MLM period scheme, it's only like the top percent that make that 10X. So they can use them as examples.
Yeah. The
majority of people don't make it that far.
Yes. So a lot of people buy into this, and it's a lot about wealth, but there's also a real estate aspect. There's a lot of real estate involved.
Investing with him, yes.
Investing, yeah. He also is, and this may be alleged, is he a Scientologist?
Yes. It's not alleged.
Confirmed?
He's very openly about it at his conferences.
Okay. He is an openly, he is a loud and proud, I guess, Scientologist.
Yes. I mean, his children are educated. I mean, they are homeschooled and educated under the Scientology curriculum. One already graduated.
Okay. He is Okay, so he is a proud Scientologist. He's incredibly wealthy. Now, this is important not because this is going into politics, but this is important because of Ryan Reynolds. This is all very important for Ryan Reynolds, and this is why we're talking about it. He is a loud Trumper. He is very, very big on. Didn't he say he was going to sue California and like sue the governor of California after the fires because he owns a house in Malibu? Like, he is not a quiet, we have Steve Sarowitz, who's the head of Wayfarer here for
Mhm.
Justin Baldoni, who is a billionaire. I would argue that they're probably on the same level of wealth, right? And Steve Sarowitz is one of those quiet billionaires. You don't know a lot about him. You don't hear him in the media and the news. He's not running conferences. He's not on YouTube every 5 seconds. He's not doing like infomercials and he's not on Clubhouse like screaming out loud. So it's a very different energy.
Well, Grant loves his own voice.
Mhm.
He loves to see himself on the screen, and he loves controversy.
Okay.
Enter Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. So over the week or the end of the week, Grant Cardone throws these big conferences, these 10X conferences that I imagine cost a gang of money to go to. Right? He
Yeah.
charges his own people to spend money to go live in person, then probably upsells you just knowing this conference circuit. You pay a certain amount of money just to go. Then you have to pay a certain amount of money to go VIP, VVIP, VVVVVIP. It's like literally one of those. And then if you want to just be on Zoom and watch from home, which so many people did, you also have to spend a ton of money. And it's hours and hours and hours, very Tony Robbins like, right? You're spending a lot of money watching the entire
Yeah.
day
Days and days and days. Yeah.
yeah. So he doesn't announce his big speakers. What do you think the reasoning for that is?
I think the reasoning is because he doesn't know till last minute some of who are coming or not, which is true. I know that for a fact. And so he doesn't like to put it out there because some of it is last minute. Some of them want to see who else is there before they agree to come on. There's like a whole behind the scenes to it. And he pays, I know for one, he paid $2 million to have them come onto his stage, hence the high price ticket.
Wait, he spent $2 million on a previous speaker.
Yes. I don't know about this.
Not Ryan. So
Not Ryan.
do you know what kind of a speaker that was? Do you remember like the
It was a
caliber?
political speaker. It's the current president of the United States.
Okay. Okay. So you guys, a couple years ago, I want to say it was probably 2022 or 2021. Donald Trump spoke at Grant Cardone's speech this same conference because we have a person in our lives that we know that is very against Donald Trump and wouldn't go, like was at the conference and said, I will not go, and stayed in their hotel room.
Right.
Because she didn't want to go and watch Trump. So Donald Trump was paid by, this is how much money Grant Cardone spends. And when I found out Ryan Reynolds was at this conference and would be willing to publicly, in the middle of this craziness, go out and stand on a stage for Grant freaking Cardone, I was like, he must be making millions.
But here's the thing, okay, and I'm sure you agree with this, Donna, is that they have only made a small amount of public appearances since this whole thing blew up.
SNL.
Right? SNL, and then his fake signing the autograph situation, right?
And then, of course, her public premiere, which was like a work-related thing.
And then this, right? The Grant Cardone. Of all.
No, he did like a JP Morgan event. I think he's doing paid appearances only.
Okay. I just can't get over the fact that if you're going to be so selective right now of when you're going to come out of hiding and when you're going to make yourself be known with everything that's going on, that these are the ones you choose. And so it makes me question, who are the people in your neighborhood? Like who are you surrounding yourself with? Who's your PR team? Who's your crisis management team? And it only comes down to two theories. One is they have an amazing PR crisis management team that they're just not listening to, or they have a PR crisis management team who is giving them horrific advice and should be dismantled.
It's the strangest thing. Are you that low on cash?
No, they're not.
So what? The only reason to go out there for me is either cash. Maybe Grant Cardone offered to invest a ton of money into Aviation Gin, or Maximum Effort, or which is his production company, or what's it called? The company that he does, Wrexham.
Oh, okay.
So I thought maybe there was some sort of deal there. So whether it's just a
Most likely.
financial, what?
Most likely, because that's how Grant deals,
Yeah.
with these
So
guys. Yeah,
I really do think it's a financial
for
deal.
sure.
Or, and I said this to my husband, and he was like, I don't know. This seems weird. But Grant Cardone's audience is so high men
Yeah.
centric. So I
Mhm.
thought maybe Ryan Reynolds is like, I've lost the women.
Yeah,
At least I really need to like make sure I've got the men.
sure.
Now,
Yeah, he's another one who loves to see himself on camera. I don't think he can physically stay away from
so
the crowd.
there is, I can't say who got this for me, but there is a private link that there's only like 300 views on this link of the entire speech of Ryan Reynolds, the entire conversation. I hope I'm not going to get in trouble. I'm sure I'll get in trouble for showing this, but I did pick up a couple moments in this speech.
Oh, I can't wait for this.
We got to watch a little bit of it, you guys. We got to watch a little bit of this. This is quite an interesting conversation. Grant and Ryan have like an hour and a half conversation on stage with like shooting fog and like the entire time. It's so wild. He never says the word Blake the entire time in the hour and a half. He says my wife. One thing that let me pull it up really fast. The exact it's long, and so I tried to like screen record because I was gonna do like a reel or a TikTok off of it or something, and then I thought to myself, oh my god, I don't have the ability because it's not interesting. I mean, it's really, I find that he tries really, really hard to be funny, like
Mm.
really hard, overly hard to be funny, and it's tough. It's tough. So let's watch just a few minutes of it, you guys. I'm going to try to find like some good moments here. Number one, you have to see where I paused it here. Look at this face. I thought it was a good face to pause it on. Let me see. Let's go just a couple minutes before.
Afterwards, who has teenage kids, he came up and he said, I'm really glad that my kids were here to see that.
He's talking about,
and I know what that feels like, and I was really emotional about it.
Yeah. So not using his name in the promo.
No, we had everyone. We had Chris Evans, Channing Tatum,
and nobody knows.
He's talking about using Wesley Snipes, who is a big actor, and choosing on purpose not to use a big actor's name in the promo, like withholding that from the audience and not choosing to use it to kind of surprise the audience and showing them in the movie for the first time that Wesley Snipes is in Deadpool. And you'll see why he's saying this. And this is just an interesting side of him, of how he kind of likes to surprise the audience. It's all about this idea of like trying to kind of trick the audience, which is interesting because then I want to show you a little bit later about what he did with Deadpool and his daughter.
No.
Oh, wow. So why do you do that? Because like nobody knew you were coming in today. For me, it's a value add, surprises people.
Yeah.
There's a shock impact.
Yeah, well, it's playing with form, and again, I think this is applicable to a lot of the folks in the audience here. Is like anytime you can think about form and play with it. Like
Form meaning what?
Form meaning like, let's say, okay, Deadpool and Wolverine was initially, I was writing it with my co-writers, we were working on it, but I wanted to release a fake movie called Alpha Cop 1. And I thought Alpha Cop 1 would be funny because it's like suggesting there's going to be a 2. And but it's basically, it was a movie about two cops who share one brain. Like, it's so stupid. Like, it's one of those movies that you see an ad for and you're like, I don't know if Reynolds is really making the right move here. But it was two cops, they share one brain, they have to work together. And the log line was Alpha Cop 1, two cops, one brain, all balls. And I was gonna have that come out, and it was gonna be supposed to be intentionally horrible. And then 5 minutes into it, the Marvel logo flicks up, and it would be Deadpool and Wolverine. It just got too logistically difficult to pull it off, but that's playing with form. You're basically, so you would create a situation where the Friday to Saturday grosses of a movie are the most historically, it's almost stupid. You know, they go up in a way that, you know, other theatrical chains are abandoning movies they have to bring this one in. So But it was, that's playing with form.
Yeah. So when you're playing with form, it sounds to me like you're actually thinking about the marketing as you build the product. Are you building it to sell?
Always. My out of office email is entertaining. Like it's as it should be, you know?
You're out of
His
office.
crazy eyes.
Like, you know, when you get the email, it says, "Hey, I'm out of the office till November." Yeah, mine will be like, I am wrestling Simba, the great white tiger, with Siegfried and the late Roy Horn in Vegas, and I'm, they're just insane. Or sometimes they're just like a totally over the top diary entry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get into all the stuff with my dad.
Like it's not fun to me anymore.
What are you practicing? A skill, or are you just trying to hit shot with people, or trying to keep? No,
I'm practicing, but I'm also doing what I love. I'm in a place. I'm lucky to be in a place in my life where I feel like I have enough, and part of the thing that that's a priority for me for the last 5 years has been to share power, share the playbook, share any of that stuff, because it's important. But it's really, if you love what you do, you're doing it. Like if people say, "Oh, I really want to be a director," and I'm always like, "You are. Why aren't? If you're a director, you're doing it. You have a phone. Yeah. Go make something. Tell a story." Writers do the same. Actors, I really want to be an actor, but you're not doing it. So go do it. So I'm always doing the thing I love to do, which is I think that sports, concerts, theatrical exhibition, these are our last great bastions of togetherness, where we all sit in a room like this, maybe a little less fire, and we experience the same thing in the same moment at the same time, and we experience it all together. And there's a dopamine rush that comes from that is quite unique. There's a French writer that calls it collective effervescence, when we're all feeling this together. But what I love about it is identity politics are checked at the door. So, you're in a room with everyone. And
okay. I mean, I should do an entire episode of Daily Dose of Donna just watching him and covering it. He has said that one statement, by the way, of when you're all together in a room watching something together. And Blake Lively has said that in multiple interviews together. This is something they thrive on, the two of them, of everyone sitting in a room together and watching something together. They love it. What are your thoughts on him now when you watch him?
I would love his confidence in himself and his life. But raise your hand if you want to buy into his playbook. I mean, like, that's hilarious.
It's so weird.
He wants to share his playbook of his success in his life. No, thank you.
It's like, what Delulu land?
He's disassociated clearly of what is happening in his world. And I think that's what happens with these public figures when they reach such a level of success and the ego is like so immense. And they're surrounded by so many yes people. You're amazing people. I mean, that's clear. It's like the level of Delulu is off the charts.
So do you think, well, I mean, it's working because he's sitting on the stage with everyone being like, Ryan. And they're like singing bye, 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 like giving him like
fire, pyrotechnics.
And he's making millions to sit there.
Yeah.
And Grant Cardone's like, man, tell me how you doing it. He also said this is also earlier in the interview. I mean, I really wish we could just sit here and watch the entire interview, and maybe I will do it at some point later this week. But earlier in the interview, he's talking about all the money that was needed to make Deadpool. Mm-hmm. And he's saying the budget and how Fox had to like put up the budget. But he said that he had to front some money for himself and put it in. And when I think he's playing dumb because Grant was like, so do you make money off of the success of Deadpool if you had to put money in? Like, such a stupid question, right? And Ryan's like, yeah. I mean, I ended up making money, but like, I didn't even know. Like, I had no idea how much. Like, I didn't even remember how much I would make. I didn't even care. I just I threw money in. Like, I was just like in it for the passion of the project. Like, I didn't even know how many deal points I was signing and like what point. I didn't even care. I just wanted the project to get. I'm like, really, dude? Really? All of a sudden you didn't care how much money you're making? And Stop Mr. Nice Guy act. I
Yeah,
can't.
well, yeah, nice pull, right? No,
Yeah.
the level of ick is like skyrocketing here. But I also know that a lot of people, when they're putting money into films, that they're putting in their own money, they do it as kind of a confidence booster to the other people that they're asking to invest. Like, listen, I put in some of my own money, so like I really believe in this project, and they'll do it just for that, just to even say it may not even be like that huge of an amount,
Yeah.
just to say that they invested in their own project to reach, the confidence level of the project that they're doing.
And I'll never forget the whole story about the director that he basically pushed away after Deadpool 1. It's like this guy that was directing the first Deadpool.
Runs in the family.
Yeah. Who just completely disappeared from the Deadpool franchise after the first one. And Ryan's talking about it on Grant Cardone's stage as if it's his baby, his entire idea. Yes, he wrote it or co-wrote it, but he completely just throws the director off of the entire story. And I'm sorry, Deadpool 1 was the best one out of all three of them, in my opinion.
Well, yeah,
That's how
they're
I feel.
rewriting scripts and they're rewriting history is what they're doing.
It's revisionist history. That's narcissism, right? Like, I guess I'm not a therapist, but
Either am I. And so I'm certainly not going to diagnose. But if you look at both of them, how they're managing this entire crisis, it does look like how a narcissist would handle it, because most people.
Yeah, like, so someone did ask, and you do celebrity crisis and crisis management. Someone did ask earlier, and I wish I could find the comment because I don't want to not credit whoever asked, and I'll look for it. But someone did ask, Molly, how would you handle it if they were your actual clients? Because you do handle crisis management. What would you do if Blake Lively, here we go. Molly, this is from Lori. Would you take Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively on as clients? And what would you tell them to do at this point?
Would I take them on as clients? Yes. Would they still be my clients at this point? I'm sure. But I'll tell you, I can phrase it off of what I'm used to doing. And that is, if someone comes to me and they're in some hot water, something didn't land very well with their community or their fans, I look at their character and intent, right? And I really try to highlight that, or, let's repost some videos of us doing good, or, where we're being really kind in this interview, or just something to remind their fan base of why you fell in love with them in the first place. I was a huge Blake and Ryan fan before. Huge. I loved them as a couple. I loved what they were portraying as a couple. I really didn't watch the other interviews. So I would be putting stuff out there, reminding people of why they fell in love with them in the first place. But as I'm going through kind of the interviews, right, with Blake, she doesn't land well. I'm like, oh, okay, that would have been a little difficult to do. And I think they've tried a few times to look really sweet and kind on the red carpet since this. I mean, obviously, that's what I'd be telling them to do, like go out of your way to be kind, thank all the photographers, be super kind to everyone who's working around you, so they have great stories about working with you, because we haven't heard any of those so far, right? So I would really try to place that. But the most important thing, which we haven't seen, which is what's shocking to me, well, not really shocking, but maybe what they should be advised to do, is to take some level of accountability of the circus that happened, and maybe put it in a different context of like, okay, there's got to be accountability on Blake's part in some way, shape, or form of what happened, that maybe it's now that she looks at it through a different lens, it was portrayed differently, and she's revisiting it in a different context. And I would love to show you more once I wrapped my brain around it. Until she takes some level of accountability for what she created, I don't know if she's ever going to be able to fully recover.
I don't feel it's around the corner. I don't see that.
No.
Now, this is an interesting comment from Diana. She says, Re10X, I have many friends who are there and none of them have any idea what is going on with Blake and Justin. What's shocking is it's such a big deal for people like us because we're so invested in this story and we think it's like everyone knows. And also wherever I go, I feel like a lot of people are asking me questions. I mentioned on my Patreon last night that I ran into two friends. One is a comedian. He's a writer and a comedian. And the other one is, he's a big magician. He has a Netflix special, Justin Willman. I don't know if any of you guys know who he is. I ran into them over at the farmer's market. They're just two dads. And they were like, what's going on with Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively and stuff? They know about it. But most of the world does not know what's going on with Justin. Like, they don't even know who these people are.
I forget that not everyone lives in our world.
Yes. Yes. So it's
That's
so
wild.
true. They don't know what's going on. And they
And
just see Ryan
on
Reynolds.
those people still being their fans. And that is probably why Ryan showed up at 10X.
Yeah. He's really truly still, I don't think, and I mentioned this on Zach's show, or Zach mentioned this on his show last week, that this will not affect Ryan Reynolds in the box office at all, in his opinion.
But what about the latest that just came out about her blaming not being at the filming because of her sick kids?
So let's get into that. Okay. We've all been following all of the updates over the weekend about their parenting. There's been so many parenting weird things. And the first one is around this COVID and the timeline. And our girl Elsie Fafo, CEO of Fafo. I freaking
her.
love her.
Love her.
She is like, does she sleep? I don't think she sleeps.
Amazing.
She doesn't sleep because I text with her at 10 o'clock at night in LA, and that's 1 a.m. in Miami. And then she's at 4 a.m. in Miami. Like, I don't understand. So Fafo, Elsie, posted, well, we can just pull it up, but basically, why don't you explain off the top of your head what the story was?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So while you're looking it up, so apparently they were supposed to start filming, right? And everything was set, the dates, contract signed, they're supposed to start filming. And she says, oh my gosh, I feel horrible. My kid is sick and the timing's horrible. And oh my gosh, I feel so horrible. And lo and behold, there she is at Taylor Swift Eras Tour concert. I don't even think in the same country, or was it still in the United States? I can't even remember. With her children at the concert, holding one in her arms and the other one right there next to her.
Yeah, let's watch it. I found it right here. Let CEO of Fafo, Elsie, make sure you're following her. If you're not, she was on my show before. I'll have to get her back ASAP because we need to get her back to describe how she's finding these finds.
Blaming sickness on your children just to be at the Eras Tour is a new level of, is it even Delulu or is just sick now? May 12, 2023, according to People's Magazine, Blake Lively attends Taylor Swift's Eras Tour with her daughters, which was in Philadelphia. Why is this important? Week of May 8th, they were supposed to be filming in Vegas, but Blake canceled saying somebody in her family was sick. As production was set to begin filming in Vegas on May 8th, a member of Lively's family falls ill. Baldoni shares his prayers and wishes for their speedy recovery. So that blue text message is Justin texting Blake. She responds, thank you so much. I'm horrified by the timing. Thank you all for your support. This has been brutal. Blank is going to be okay. And the blank is so little, it makes me believe it's one of the kids. I'm going to go with Inez or Onlin. You're both going to be good. Just need to get through it. Justin responds, just so happy. Blank is going to be okay. Rest well. Oh, this is Blake Lively, caught in 4K in Philadelphia on May 12th with Taylor Swift, her older daughter, and one in her arms. Considering she couldn't go to Vegas to shoot because of a sickness in the family, I'm surprised she has the strength to be at an Eras Tour. Priorities. You held up this man's movie, post-production, tons of money, because you had to be at the Eras Tour on the 12th in Philadelphia. That's why you couldn't be in Vegas to film. And you blamed it on your kids being sick. Concocting illnesses and sicknesses for your children just so you could be at the Eras Tour, the new level of sick.
Whoa.
Okay. I'm going to say, I'm sure she's not the only person who faked being sick to go to the Eras Tour. So I am going to put that out there. However.
Okay, but.
However, the amount of money it costs, as she said, the staff, the crew, it's obscene the amount of money every single day of filming costs, especially on a bigger budget movie like that. To put that many people out, that is unheard of to me.
So what Elsie said, because her next video was clapping back at a lot of people like you who are saying, oh, come on, so many people did this. And it's true. So many people did this. So many people even traveled out of town and left their cities to go to Eras Tours. I don't have any issue with calling out sick to go on a concert with your kids. Like, that's not a problem. But if your job is going to screw over so many people, if so many people are relying on you being at work, that's a very different thing. And also to lie to get out of work. So it's one thing, like if I called out sick today, that doesn't hurt anyone. except me. Like, I just don't get paid for that day of my ads or my YouTube or whatever. But it doesn't hurt you guys. Like, you'll survive. It's not like I'm putting anyone out except my softbox lights, you know? Like, those are the only ones that won't be turned on today. You
And
know
peop-
what I mean?
and people with conscience and character, that weighs very heavily on them. And so it's another point, right, where you're questioning their conscience, their character, their priorities, their intent.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's really interesting. Wait, Nancy Drew says, "Oh my God, I'm late, but Daily Dose of Donna, I'm still on Clubhouse and Grant is a joke." Don't tell me Grant Cardone is still on Clubhouse.
Wait, I'm still shocked that there's still Clubhouse.
I don't know if she's watching live or if she's behind, but we need to find out, because when she gets to live, like, I need to know if Clubhouse is
I
still
need
in
to
app.
know.
So, and then that's the question, is like, she supposedly went to Eras 7 times. She is best friends, or was, with Taylor Swift. She can go whenever. She could have texted and been like, "Hey, can I come tonight?" Like, no problem. It wasn't like she had to wait in Ticketmaster.com's line. It wasn't like she had to go to Craigslist to look for a ticket. That was not an issue. So what was the issue that she had to leave town, go there? It's not like she had to pull her kids. It was a spring break. Her kids are young. They could have been pulled. What's the issue?
And it's such a great point that you made. It also wasn't the only chance she had to go to the Eras tour.
Right.
She went, 7 times.
It doesn't make any sense.
It just gets worse and worse the more you look at it.
So then let's go into this next story about the parenting issues, and this goes back to Mr. Ryan. But before we do that, I have to make sure, since you and I are both dog moms,
Yes.
we have to talk about what we feed our dogs. And I'll tell you what I feed my dogs. And this is very important, because feeding dogs is all about their poops, and that's important to me. And the reason I talk about this is because I walk my dogs twice a day. And you know how important it is. Well, I don't know if you walk your dogs. I'm not going to judge you if you don't.
Yeah, I do. The 2 bigger ones, yeah.
Okay. Molly is the cutest little Riley. You guys know my Frankie. Is Riley near you?
I was going to see if she was near me, I was going to go get her, but she's not.
Oh, okay. Well, you can go walk around and find her while I talk about Ollie. Ollie is the best dog food ever. If your dog could talk, they would beg for Ollie. It's a fresh whole food diet, isn't just delicious. It can add 2.5 extra years to your pup's life. I wish I started Ollie earlier, because Frankie's getting so old. Ollie delivers clean, fresh nutrition in 5 drool-worthy flavors. You don't need to be a veterinary nutritionist to know that real minimally processed food is the best choice for your dog's health. Made in U.S. kitchens with high-quality human-grade ingredients, Ollie's food contains no fillers, no preservatives, just real food. So first, you have to introduce us to your pup. Look at Riley. That's little Riley. Riley's my favorite. Sorry, Frankie. Riley's not my favorite. Riley's my favorite New Jersey dog.
Yes. That's
okay, so you have to fill out Ollie's 30-second quiz, and they'll create a customized meal plan based on your pup's weight, activity level, and other health info. You'll get expert recommendations. Ollie crunches the numbers and recommends the right recipes and daily portions for your precious pup based on hundreds of thousands of real dog results. And you'll get your welcome kit. You'll get your pup's first box of 2 weeks worth of meals and a guide to how to gradually switch the mother over. You'll customize your plan. And what makes Ollie different is it's the only dog food that comes with unlimited routine health screenings. Dogs deserve the best, and that means fresh, healthy food. Head to ollie.com/dailydose. Tell them all about your dog and use code dailydose to get 60% off your welcome kit when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer a clean bowl guarantee on the first box. So if you're not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. That's ollie.com/dailydose and enter code dailydose to get 60% off your first box. Molly, do you see the comments on the right?
No, I don't.
Oh my God, you're missing out. Everyone's dying over Riley. You see comments on the right now?
She's so furry right now. Normally she's more groomed.
Everyone's like, she's so fluffy.
She's the best. She travels with me everywhere. She's my permanent co-host.
Oh my God. Ziad says, is it Ollie or Alibaba? I miss Alibaba. You know, when my kids say Alibaba sometimes because they make jokes, because I guess Alibaba is like I know we had talked about it on Real Houses of Salt Lake City, but Alibaba is like, you know, like Temu or Shein. Shein?
Sheen.
Is Shein still a thing?
Yeah. Going around.
I just want to sit and talk badly about like people on TikTok. But we have one more Ryan Reynolds story before we get into like JFK, Karen Reed, all kinds of other stuff. So let's get into it. Ryan Reynolds got caught. He got caught and he told on himself because that's what they do, this couple. They just keep telling on themselves. So as you guys probably saw, Ryan Reynolds has admitted on his own in like these Deadpool scenes that he coached his own daughter, to use this disgusting, sick, and disturbing line in his film Deadpool and Wolverine.
Wait, I didn't see this.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, there's a ton, of course, our girl Elsie and Steph with the Deets and a lot of these other people have talked about this, but basically in a commentary track for Deadpool and Wolverine's Deadpool core scene in 2024, he joined the director of the movie, Sean Levy. So they, you know how they do like special features or special, add-ons for these movies.
Yeah.
In the track, he joined the director of the movie to share all things behind the scenes. And in it, he reveals that they had cajoled? How do you say that? Cajoled?
Cajoled?
I guess. I hate that word. Inez, that's one of their daughters, into saying the line. She's 9 years old, I think. I don't know how old she was at the time. Does anyone know how old she was at the time? And she had to say the line, hey, when I want your opinion, I'll take Wolverine's D out of your mouth. Okay? 7. She was 7. That's younger than Oliver, and she's a girl. Okay? Not like, I'm going to talk about equality, but she's a girl saying, hey, when I want your opinion, I'll take Wolverine's, can I say it? I don't want to say it. D-I-C-K out of your mouth. Okay, now Riley's pissed.
Riley is not happy about that.
Riley doesn't even say the D word.
No, never.
So,
wow.
And then she had to repeat that 70 to 500 times on the set. Reynolds said that she was originally reluctant, but she changed her mind last minute when he suggested that he would look for another actor to take the part, which sounds really awesome. Like, oh, you don't want it? Okay, well, I guess I'll just cast it with someone else. And she was like, no, I want it. Okay.
I'm floored by this.
Right? The actor joked he should get the Best Father of the Year award because he's so funny. Right? He's so funny. As he admitted, he coached Inez on the script. Deadpool fans have taken notice of Reynolds' comments about the incident amid his ongoing legal wranglings with Justin Baldoni, in which he branded Justin the predator. Right? Justin's the predator. But watching the clip back, Ryan says guiltily, that is my daughter Inez. I'm so sorry we have to admit that, Sean interjected. And then Ryan explained it.
It's just so confusing to me how they're able to use sexual humor in their daily lives, in their everyday life, but no one else is around them.
It's totally fine. It's like rules for thee, not for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very, very scary for people like this because when you draw the line when the line is imaginary and it's not firm,
yeah,
this is when people get in trouble.
You get to decide where the line is and you get to decide when you want to move it to.
And this is where it's in trouble. This is where you get in trouble. And like this 47 Civil Code, California Civil Code 47.1 or whatever that she's using in her arguments as a motion to dismiss is why it's so scary, because there's this vague argument that any communication of sexual harassment, etc. And it's like so vague.
Yeah.
Right? Because this is sexual harassment. This is sexual predatory behavior. You know?
Yeah. I mean, her husband could be brought up on all the same charges that she's, obviously charging Justin. It's just wild.
It's unreal. But the point is that, well, he's a predator.
Mm-hmm.
He's a predator. We can all walk around and say he's a predator too. And
if you go by that, general definition, yeah.
Yeah. So Justin's not more of a predator than he is.
No.
In fact, I would say less of a predator because he's not asking his 7-year-old daughter to say the D word 550 to 700 times, a month.
I'm shocked.
Or on set. And Fran Barker says here on the comments, I blame every person on the set not sticking up for the 7-year-old little girl. And they don't, because it's Hollywood and it's Ryan Reynolds. And you're like, it's funny. It's Ryan.
You're
allowed.
No one can say no to the powerful, the money. They get away with so much.
So I want to know if like the child, and this is actually really interesting, SAG. This is an interesting take. SAG, Screen Actors Guild, and there's supposed to be a union involved here, children's union. Like, I want to know, and look, I don't know what the rules are here. I would be very interested. When I was a casting director and working with kids, I never worked on horror films. I never worked on R-rated movies. I never worked on films or movies that took kids and put them in, you know, sexual scenes or anything like of that nature. I only worked on like Disney, Nickelodeon, and comedies. The worst I had kids do were say like, you know, butt or fart or, you know. So I have no idea what the rules are around this. But I guarantee you there are some rules around kids involving themselves in any sort of R-rated type material. There has to be some sort of like,
Sure, you have to have the parental permission to
definitely parental permission, but there has to be some sort of like a union guardian or someone like on set, like almost like an intimacy coordinator, but to protect kids.
Right.
So I'm curious what was done on this set for kids.
Yeah, I actually do wonder that. It's like, what are the parameters? How, like, what is the context of the scene that it's in? Like, I'm sure there's a lot of different parameters.
He has a mask on. You don't see a kid's face.
Okay.
You know, this is a really, really good, point. Could have used an AI voice.
Yes.
How many, like my friend Tara Strong, she's a great voice actor. She does the voices of all the kids in all the Simpsons type shows. Wait, you had to use a kid's voice?
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
Very weird. And
Very weird.
Mm-hmm.
And then to threaten your own kid to be like, you're going to lose it. I'm going to find another kid to take your role if you don't want to say the D word. That's freaking weird too. Now, someone sent me, one of my dosers, one of my mommy sleuths, wink, wink, Candace, sent me a DM of this. Rules for thee, not for me, right? Blake Lively was captured on an Entertainment Tonight interview once. This is going to be kind of hard to find exactly, but let me pull it up. It's a Facebook video. The fact that there's Facebook videos. And it's about why Ryan Reynolds will not let his 9-year-old daughter watch the R-rated movie. So, but this is interesting, okay? The 7-year-old said the D word over and over and over. Let's watch just like a few minutes of it just to see like kind of the difference here. I wonder if I can make it a little bigger. Enter full screen, yes. Wait, where's the volume? Here.
Cool. Looks like Deadpool, aka Ryan Reynolds, isn't a regular dad. He's a cool dad.
Ew.
These are great, aren't they?
Revealing he let his 9-year-old daughter James watch Deadpool and Wolverine ahead of its release, even with its R rating. Ryan called it a bonding experience for him and his eldest, telling the New York
Okay, so just FYI, it does say he did let the 9-year-old watch the R-rated movie. So he's a cool dad. Keep watching.
Times. I'm not saying that other people should do this, but it was just one of the best moments of this whole experience for me.
I need more of that validation from my child.
It was also a full circle moment for the star, explaining, when I saw rated R movies when I was a kid, they left a huge impression on me. It's been a huge inspiration to so many of the things that I look to make now. Ryan shares 4 kids with wife Blake Lively, but they don't exactly share the same parenting philosophy, at least when it comes to what their kids can watch off their IMDb pages.
When people come up to me and they're like, oh my God, my daughter loves Gossip Girl. I was like, she's 7. What is happening?
I am.
So that was interesting, right? Oh, whoops. I lost you, Molly. It just went straight to me. She's 7.
These, it's so interesting how all these clips and everyone who's finding like these old clips, there is so much that is so disturbing that how did we never see it before?
I don't know.
How did we really, truly, honestly, never see this before or never notice?
It's like when you learn a new word and then you start saying it everywhere. When you see a yellow car and then you see it everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just realized the time, and you kind of have to go soon.
Yeah, I have until about 3:15, 3:20.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on because we could talk about this forever, and I really want to get to some other topics. I want to talk about because you've been deep diving on a lot of things that I have not known a thing about. So tell me, because you got out your, string and papers, and you did Homeland, Claire Danes
That's right.
on JFK.
Yes.
You read all 80,000 pages.
Skimmed, but yes, I opened them all. I can say
Tell
that.
me what you have figured out over these JFK
Okay,
files.
I'm going to close my door.
Riley is Ryan Reynolds.
Is ruining my JFK for dummies here. Okay, so I love a rabbit hole. I live in a rabbit hole. I just come out for shows like this and I'll go back in because I can't.
Okay.
So, JFK for dummies, because I knew nothing. I truly did not know anything about JFK besides what we were kind of taught in, grade school. We were taught that he was assassinated by one person, right? And that was it. Case closed.
Okay.
It comes out that there's so much more to the story, and there's so many questions, and there's so many rumors of what happened and conspiracies. So I was like, all right, let me skim. I'm not a historian, right? It would take me weeks and months if I really combed through everything. But these were the highlights that stuck out to me that I think is like really, really interesting. And stop me at any point.
No, go.
So first of all, again, just skimmed. I did not go through them with a fine.
You need to close your door.
Yeah, sorry. Okay.
No, it's okay.
Sorry.
I love you. Don't worry about it.
Okay, Riley, maybe I should bring her on my lap. Okay. Of course,
you guys make sure to follow Molly because Molly's got the best insights on these things. Keep going.
Okay, so the most interesting thing to me as I was like skimming through them one after the other, and it took hours and days. And then they released a whole new bunch just this past Friday night when there were so many news stories breaking, is how so many different agencies were all trying to hide information, which is why they're all under suspect. So like the KGB, the CIA, Russia, Castro, they're all giving information into a commission that was formed by LBJ to investigate JFK's death. And all of them are the secret memos in between them, interdepartments. They're all saying like, oh, take this out. Make sure you hide this part. Greenline what you want included. So it was clear there's cover up everywhere. But
why?
Exactly. So why? And then everyone's questioning, no, but LBJ's involved too. So now you have the person who's leading the investigation, supposedly, also under question. Did he have something to do with the death? And you'll have to tell me if there's questions coming up because for some reason I can't see the comments.
Okay.
So, the most common theory, which kind of runs throughout the pages, was Oswald working for the CIA? Was this a CIA hit? And that seems to be the most pervasive questioning throughout all these files, is that he was not a lone gunman. This is the theory. And that more people were involved. And they almost used Oswald as a scapegoat because there's many places where they say there's memos of them saying, oh, Oswald's a bad shot. He'll never make it with the KGB, or as if they're trying to recruit him. And then they realize he's really not a great shot. Like, I don't know if he's going to be our guy. So maybe we should just set him up and, kind of figure out another plan. So, okay. A lot of the documents were honestly incredibly hard to read. They've been around for decades. They're smeared. They're really almost unintelligible.
It says Lee Harvey Oswald worked at the Riley Coffee Company in New Orleans, which was a nesting ground for CIA operatives.
Yes. And I'll say there's maybe 3 or 4 that really stuck out to me. So I'm going to focus on those as to why people think that there's more people involved in that assassination. Before I get into those, the concern over releasing the files and why they haven't been released till now was they show people's social security numbers who are still alive.
Oh,
they're also showing, not great, right? They're also showing techniques that our CIA, companies do, which we probably shouldn't know, and we probably shouldn't let other countries know.
Wow.
Of like our interrogation techniques, right? Just a guess.
Wow.
Okay, so the 2 or 3 files that really stick out to me, there's a J. Edgar Hoover memo where this is just only a few days after the assassination. J. Edgar Hoover was kind of the head of the investigation department, where he's saying we have to make sure the public knows that he is a lone shooter. He was very like nervous and anxious sounding. Like, we have to let them know that he was a lone shooter. We cannot have public questioning or thinking there's any more to this. And this was kind of an internal memo of him making sure. He's like, we have to say it. We have to declare it now.
Why?
Why? And, you can look at that both ways. You can look at that as he wanted to calm everyone's nerves. Not that he wasn't the lone shooter, but he just didn't want a whole ruckus and people questioning because he was. Or he knew that there was more to it and he didn't want it being questioned. Right? Sorry about my dogs, you guys.
Oh, it's okay. We're dog lovers here.
Okay.
Dopers love dogs.
All right. Then there is some files and memos about a man named Gary Underhill. Okay. He had a background in intelligence and military affairs. He discovered what he says is a link between the CIA and the assassination, where there was a sub kind of cell, a hidden cell within the CIA of these specific operatives. That was like a small clique that was in charge of the assassination. So the rest of the CIA truly didn't know. They were operating kind of in their own island. Once he found this out and declared it and started telling people what he was finding, he became afraid for his life, was hurrying, trying to leave Washington, and wound up dead.
Oh.
But they ruled it a suicide, as they often do, right? But he was shot behind the ear. So
you don't do that. You don't do that in a suicide.
Correct. And he's right-handed, but the gun was found under his left side. So
it's feeling very Boeing whistleblower.
Right. Exactly. Okay, so that was of interest. There's also some information about MK Ultra. That's another group that comes up a lot in these conspiracy theories. There's wiretapping involved. You can see these memos and files in here where there's a discussion. They have them discussing assassinating him. There's like dialogue, philosophical kind of ideas of what would you do, if you were to assassinate him. And they talk about different ways that they would do it. So, that's under the suspicion. Okay. All right. In the second batch that was given out on Friday night, there's 13,000 files. Okay.
I can't.
Well, 13,000 pages.
Okay.
So I don't know how many files. Okay. Again, skimmed. The highlight of that for me, of just trying to get to like the crux of it, was there is a memo in there. It's called the Donald Heath memo. It's an internal CIA document that shows that senior CIA officials were not buying the lone gunman theory. Now, the commission that LBJ put together says, the CIA came back and they said there was a lone gunman. It's Lee Harvey Oswald. Case closed, right?
Bye. Yeah.
But in these documents, it shows that the CIA were not convinced it was a lone gunman theory, and that it could possibly involve Cuba or the Soviet Union. And their findings on this was released only weeks after the assassination. So again, everyone's expecting that there's a page where it dictates this is who
this happened.
Right.
But no one has the answer.
No. And I'm sure that there's tons of people way smarter than me who have a lot of knowledge and are historians that are going to go through this page by page and link it all together and track it all and come up with something, I'm sure. But for someone like me, who's kind of, I think, like most of us, it's very confusing, but it's very clear that everyone is trying to hide something. And that I'm leaning towards, after perusing it, that there was definitely more involved than just one person. And was Lee Harvey Oswald one of the many? Maybe, but I don't think he acted alone.
I think that, almost it releases more questions.
Mm-hmm.
Like more information did not solve the problem. It's more questions than ever. Has anyone ever gone to a medium or a psychic or anyone like very big?
And I would be the first one to do that.
Yeah, you got to do it and get them on your show.
I will. Actually, I should bring my psychic. I have an amazing psychic.
Go to your psychic or go get someone like a Jonathan Mark medium, like one of those television people.
You're right.
And get them on your show.
I should.
You totally should.
I should. I am. I'm going to do that actually. Because
done.
Yeah, done.
Okay, I love it.
Everything else in my life.
Wait, so let's do one more story. So Karen Reed.
Oh my gosh.
You're really into this. There's a new documentary that you just watched.
Yes. Okay. I hope some of the dosers are watching.
Who's here in the audience?
Zach Peter.
I'm trying to hook Zach, Peter, and Molly up. Not in that way. Not in that way. But I'm telling you, if Zach, Peter, and
Yes.
Molly become besties without me, I will be so FOMO'd out. I will fly out.
We got them out in LA next week, and Donna's leaving me.
I won't be here, and you'll come out. And if you guys hang out without me, I'll be pissed.
Okay.
But Zach will be on Molly's show too. Okay, so let's talk Karen Reed for a second.
Okay. I hope some of your dosers are watching this, because this case is so exciting to watch. Just it's like, did the police do it, or did this woman do it? Is she being framed, or is she guilty? It's like one of those, right? And you're trying to like dig and dig and dig. The hole is deep.
Okay.
Okay. So the basic summary is Karen Reed is charged with killing her boyfriend after a drunken night out with friends. They go over to a friend's house where they're invited late at night, hours and hours of drinking. There's a snowstorm. She asks her boyfriend to go inside because it doesn't look like many people are there. Is it the right house? He gets out. She watches him go in the house. He doesn't come back out. She's getting annoyed. They had already been fighting that night a little bit. She gets annoyed. She's calling him. He's not answering. She's like, screw you. I'm leaving. You're not going to come out, and tell me if it's okay. She leaves, wakes up in the morning. He's not home. She's still pissed, right? She thinks he's partied, stayed out late. She's calling her friends. Have you seen him? They're like, no, he was with you. So she's like, wait, now I'm concerned. They all get in a car. They go back over to that house where she dropped him off. He's dead in the snow.
Oh my God.
Okay. So they call the police. The ambulance come. She's missing her taillight in the back right of her car is broken. They think immediately, you jump to the conclusion, she hit him. That's what happened. And she's like, oh my God, I hit him? Like she has no.
Riley also agrees, by the way.
Did you
The
hear
second
that?
you said that, Riley's like, she hit him.
They know.
Riley is one of those.
Yeah. So, okay, you think case closed, right? Sounds okay. That's what happened. She drunkenly backed up on him and he landed in the snow and died out there. Okay, so as you go through the trial, and I don't want to ruin it for everybody, but just to give the summary, as you go through the trial, you see that, okay, inside this house are a bunch of police officers. The boyfriend was also a police officer.
Police officer, I remember that.
Okay. And they say he never entered the house. She's like, no, I clearly watched him walk in. And they're like, no, he never came in. Nope, never saw him. And they're like, she's like, that's weird. I know I saw him. Turns out, okay, there's a lot that goes on. They are being accused of covering up a crime that something happened with these police officers. They got in a scuffle, they killed him, and they brought him out in the snow to frame it. They were hoping like a snowplow or something would, hide him. And there's like all these weird text messages and phone calls that they all deny making. They're all calling each other after I'm trying to get this straight. Sorry. After he allegedly entered the house, right? About an hour after, there's all these calls in between the people who are still there. Why are they calling each other? They're all in the
same house.
The same house. They're all saying, oh, it wasn't me. I must have butt dialed.
What?
3 people in a house all butt dialed each other on this.
Well, what kind of dancing are they doing in that house?
The most incriminating evidence, though, comes from this woman, Jennifer, who's in the house.
Okay.
At 2:40 a.m., it's found on her phone that she Google searched how long to die in the snow.
Stop.
That's 3.5 hours before the body was found.
And who is she?
She was just one of their friends out with all of them. I mean, they all go out like every Friday night. It's like this very close-knit group of friends and police officers and their girlfriends and wives.
How did her taillight break?
So good question. So there is camera footage, like ring camera footage of her in the morning when she woke up and saw that he wasn't there. And she was like frantically like, oh God, we got to go find him. She's backing out of the car. She hits his car right in the area where you would break the taillight.
Yeah.
Now you don't see it break, but it looks like, it definitely could have caused that to happen. Interestingly enough, if that happened there, where are the broken pieces of the taillight? They're not under there. Somehow, not during the first search, but in the second search, the cops find broken pieces of taillight after they had possessed her car. So they had access to her car and could have allegedly taken the pieces of taillight and framed her by putting them around him.
Okay.
In the snow. But how did the first search crew that came not see that? It's a bright red, taillight.
Wow. So you just watched a documentary on this.
Yes.
Because I am looking for a really good way to
Really
catch
good.
up. Because
Yes.
I know right now she was on trial
Yes.
and everyone was saying free Karen Reed, she's being framed. Because I think the majority of my audience here is saying she's been framed. You guys right now tell me, because I can't do a poll. Like say if she's being framed, if you think she's been framed or guilty. Framed, guilty in the poll.
And while they're doing that, the jury came back.
Okay.
And it was a hung jury.
I remember that.
Right?
So they put it on pause or whatever to come back.
Next month. So in April, she's being tried again.
Okay, so everyone's saying framed, framed, framed. So a lot of people are saying watch Lawyer, watch Emily D. Baker, but I need something a little more succinct. Like I want 1 hour, 2 hours, not like 18 hours.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm going to watch a documentary and then I can catch up to live stuff. Poor Molly with her dog. I get it. I've been you with your dog. I will do that and I will then catch up and then we'll start to cover it because I need a new obsession.
It's really good. And the team, like the police team are very strong team police and the free Karen people are very strongly team Karen.
Are there a lot of team police? Because I'm not seeing a lot of people here.
I mean, if you go on, I posted kind of my little synopsis on my TikTok and there are some very heated pro police. You don't know.
Oh, there are people that like probably have police officers in their family and they're just like, they're blind police believers.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is that like blind women believers, like Blake Lively people?
Yeah, exactly.
Like maybe they don't even have all the facts and they don't even care to know the facts. They just believe because they're police or they just believe because she's a woman.
Exactly.
Interesting. So where's this documentary? People are curious. Do you remember?
On Investigation Discovery, the ID, channel.
Where do we find that? Like on Hulu?
I don't know how I found it. I just put it in my main search button and it came up and it's like, oh, watch it on here.
Karen Reed documentary.
Yeah, it's 4 episodes. It's very easy to follow.
Okay, I'm going to watch that. And then speaking of, there's another big documentary that's coming out today, I think, on the same ID. And it's about Stephen Collins. He was the dad on Seventh Heaven.
Yes.
it's HBO Max. Everyone's saying HBO Max.
Sorry.
No, I think they're related. I think it's ID. It's the same that had, I feel like it's all the same, all these things. You just search. You're right. You just search and it shows up.
Oh, I'll finish because then I wanted to bring up one other thing before I have to go.
Let's do it. Sherry?
Oh, yes. I wanted to bring up Sherry Papini. Okay. Does everyone remember when Sherry Papini went missing? What was this? 9 years ago? 10 years ago?
I'm obsessed with this story.
Okay. She went missing. The blonde, cute girl. Her husband was frantic. The media went crazy over it. We were all searching for Sherry Papini.
She was the woman that went out running. She said that she went out, with her dog. I can't remember. She was a sweet, beautiful blonde woman, happily married, went out running and then missing from a small town. And her husband went on this wild chase to find her. And then she just was dropped off and she made up an entire story about these 2 Latina women who kidnapped her.
Not just kidnapped her, but assaulted her. I mean, burns all over her.
She was
bruises, gashes. Her hair was shaped. Like she looked horrific. And then it turns out it was self-inflicted because she was hiding out with her ex-boyfriend.
She beat herself.
Burned herself. She had him flick hockey pucks at her to cause the bruises. I mean, wild. Okay, the reason why is she back in the news? The reason why she's back in the news is she's trying to get custody of her children. She just finished 10 months in prison. She says she's redeemed. She's been through therapy. But do you remember, Donna, in the documentary? So there was a documentary about this past year that came out that they found out through the kids being in therapy that she was purposely making them sick, like Munchausen.
She was like poisoning them with stuff. Yep. No, she cannot. I will fight that. I will go to that trial and fight that.
So that's the current trial going on right now. She's suing her ex-husband. He has to go on the stand.
You saw this on the news somewhere?
Yes, this just came out.
Okay, there's no judge in the world that would allow that for that. She is sick.
Yeah, and the last thing I want to say about that is up until now, the amount of time that she has spent with these kids is 1 hour every month, and it's supervised. So she's never had the kids longer for an hour under supervised, custody.
Yeah, it says kidnapping hoaxer Sherry Papini is back in court for child visitation battle with ex-husband. She is fighting for visitation and custody. I just saw something very disturbing. We share a birthday.
Oh, well,
You guys,
we
what
can't
does
have
that
them all.
say? I have
Wait, so what sign is she?
Gemini, two
Oh,
personalities.
Yeah, well,
I have two
Okay.
personalities too sometimes.
don't we all? I'm a
No,
Leo.
I really do. I actually really do. If you watch just a couple of my episodes, you'll see it. Oh my God. Okay, you guys, if you love these kinds of stories, this is what Molly hits up on her show called Polarized, which is really written. I mean, this is why she came up with her YouTube, because she loves these kinds of stories, which like the Allison Holker and Twitch. What other kinds of stories that you cover? Meghan Markle.
Meghan Markle. I mean, anything that's polarizing to talk about, I love to dive into. And honestly, I'm not someone who like chooses a side. I just want all the information, and I like to throw it out to everybody, and then I want to hear them discuss it, because I really love to hear both sides and then make an opinion.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I think it's like so genius to talk about things like this, because it's not. I mean, most people would agree that Sherry is off her rocker, but it's a good, interesting debate to talk about, like what caused her to do this, and like
And it brings up yeah, go ahead.
No, you.
It brings up a great question on, mental health. And, she has her therapist saying she's fine. She can be with the children. You got to give her a chance. And so it brings up the question of, a lot of people suffer with mental health issues. And should their kids be taken away because of that, especially when they're being treated, they're going to therapy, and they're doing all the things. Like, you can look at, things both ways, but there's certain things that are just, to me, going back to the line in the sand of things, that if you commit something, if you do something, if you purposely harm your child, that's kind of a line in the sand for me. If you purposely are making them sick, all of that.
I think I would never, I mean, imagine putting yourself in the woman's, like if that was your baby and that's your husband or your ex-husband, and he's done that to your kids, I would say NO, never in hell.
Mama bear. Yeah. No.
Mama bear, never.
Yeah.
Like, good luck. I'd rather give the kids to anyone over that. Like, no thanks. And I know you have to go, but I tomorrow, I guess we'll talk about Paige DeSorbo continuing to hate men around the world. Molly said, Nancy Drew says, I just checked. I used to listen to Molly on Clubhouse in her club on air with Molly Dare.
That's right.
That's right. Every morning we used to listen to Molly's room.
No one on Clubhouse. We would go to you in the afternoon at 2:00, 11 a.m. Pacific time.
Every single day. No one in Clubhouse is talking about Baldoni. We need you back. No thanks. Oh my God, so funny. Okay, you guys, make sure to follow Molly over on YouTube, Polarized with Molly Dare. And what are your Instagram handles so everyone can find you on TikTok?
Instagram, I'm at Molly Dare or at Polarized with Molly Dare. And then on TikTok, same Molly Dare and at Polarized with Molly Dare.
You're the best, Molly. Thank you, everyone. Dosers, make sure you subscribe and like and follow and everything. You're the best. Happy Monday. See you tomorrow. Bye.